Hello, welcome back. It is week 2 of the hives, and so I will be doing a second inspection. It's really warm today. I sat outside and I just watched them at the entrance, and they're very busy. So hopefully we will see a lot of progress made in the hives. And my goal is to absolutely find the queen and the one I didn't last time, and to hopefully see eggs. See how that goes. But I'll start off now by lighting the smoker, and I'm going to try a slightly different technique this time because it did go out between me moving between hives. So yeah, we'll just see if this way is going to be any better. So I'm going to use cardboard as the start, and I'm basically just going to get a lot of it and roll it up and pack it really tight in the smoker. Alright, have a fruit roll-up of cardboard. So, on the bottom I'm going to light this paper just because I'm using whatever this is, a lighter, and then I'm going to put the cardboard on top and then just really try to pump air into it. We're going to see if that works.
So the cardboard cartridge method can work, but what I ended up doing here was make more of a fire than a smoker. So I just let everything burn too hot for too long, and there was nothing really left to smolder by the time I choked it off to have it smoke. So really just get it flaming and then stop. Just stop. Stop making a fire. Just make a smoker and leave enough material so that it can be choked off and smolder to make the smoke for a long time.
Alright, let's get to it. Hopefully this won't immediately go out. Alright, let's see. Don't soak these gloves in water. That's a bad idea. They're all stiff now. Don't do that. I'm gonna have to do some kind of leather treatment on them. This is goat leather. It's not offensive to the bees, apparently, compared to other leather.
I know we've already done an inspection, and everything here in terms of taking everything apart and looking at it is the same. But because it's the second week, there are some important developments going on in the hive in regards to the life cycle of a bee. So I'm really looking to show you the progress that they've made on each frame and what is going on once they have themselves a little more established this week. So who is in the hive? The vast majority of bees, like the ones seen here, are worker bees. And these are all female bees. And they're the ones that you'll see out and about collecting pollen. And they do pretty much all of the work. They live for about a month. And in their first couple weeks of life, they do a lot of work on the inside of the hive, like keeping it clean, working with the other eggs in the hive, attending to the queen, fanning their supplies inside of the hive to make the honey. And they start to make wax the way that we make earwax in our ears. They actually have glands in their body that makes all this beeswax that they use to build the comb. All of this really colorful stuff you can see on this frame is all the pollen that they've brought in, and that's thanks to the worker bees who spend the last couple days of their lives just out as field bees collecting all this pollen. We also have drone bees in the hive, and these are male bees, and they're easy to spot because they're much bigger than the rest, and they don't do any of the hard work that the worker bees do. The entire point of the drone bee really is to mate with other queen bees from other hives to continue the drone species. You can see a bunch of drones here. Regardless of the type of bee, all bees start out the same as an egg in one of these cells, which turns into larvae. You can see that some of that here, and then capped brood. You can tell what the capped brood is going to be. So the ones that are capped and they look to be about the height of the comb, those are worker bees. The ones that are capped and they've got a little bump, that's going to be drones. And the ones that are capped and they look like they're almost hanging down, those are queen cells. I don't have any queen cells to show because it would not be a good sign for me to have queen cells right now, because that would mean that the bees think there's something wrong with the queen and they want to replace her. The queen is really important because she's the only way that we can get more bees in the hive. She spends all of her time laying eggs, and she doesn't even have the ability to really care for herself. She actually has a group of worker bees attendants who take care of all of her needs, so she can just concentrate on laying eggs. One of the cool things here is I think I've got honey in this top part of the frame where that white capped stuff is. That's the top there. It's actually looking like it's on the bottom because it's kind of upside down. The last thing I'm going to do with this hive is remove the queen excluder I had at the bottom. They don't need it anymore because the queen didn't decide to leave the hive. They've accepted the hive box, so they don't need it anymore. Coming over to my hive now, one of the things I noticed that help with the smoker is that you just gotta pump it occasionally, even if you're not going to use it on the bees. Just keep pumping a little air into it every once in a while just to keep the smolder going inside of it. There's not much different with this hive besides this one's just a tad behind in terms of progress than the other one, but there's no burr comb buildup like there is in the other hive because they haven't done as much work because there's less bees in this one. Same as the other hive, the 3 outer frames here really don't have much comb on them.
This one's heavy. We got some mass on the right side here. You can see all this mass on the top third, and they're working their way down. You can see what's on the other side, all those dirt patches. Got some food stores up at the top here, which is the bottom here because I'm holding it upside down. But we can check out all the pollen they've got.
Bees also store nectar and water to help make honey, and that's what the glassy stuff looks like here. One of the cool things about the pollen is that if you're so inclined, you can see what plants the bees are getting them from by looking at the color, taking a sample of it, looking at the shape of it under the microscope. And you can find out what plants your bees are visiting by matching the pollen with the plants.
Look at that.
I didn't get a video of it, but I did find the queen in the other hive. Hooray! So the biggest thing you're checking for when you're inspecting a hive is if there are new eggs in the hive, and these are little tiny white pinpricks that you'll see in the cells. And if they're standing up, then they're a day old, so that means your queen was active recently. So you can see there's a lot of capped brood here, and there's larvae. The good thing about this is that all the brood is next to each other. That's a really good sign. If it was spotty, meaning like the capped brood was sort of all over the place and there was a bunch of holes in the middle of it with nothing going on, that could be a sign that there's something going on with the queen. That's not a good sign. The cool thing about the queen is that she can actually live for a couple years. No other bee lives for a couple years besides the queen. The thing with beekeepers though is that they like to change them out, maybe every year, every 2 years or so, in order to keep the highest level of productivity from the queen, keep her young. You can see here the drone cap I was talking about. My hive actually has a lot of drone cap going on for some reason compared to the other hive, but this one that's poking up like a zit, that is a drone, and everything else here is a worker bee.
This cap right here, it's like a zit, a pimple or something. there. There's the queen. She's going through. Let's see if we can find eggs in this one. You see this guy over here with some pollen to return. And you see the queen. She's doing stuff. There they are. All back in. My syrup looks pretty okay. There's just a ton of dead bees in it.
I pretty much stopped feeding them at this point. I gave them the rest of the 5-gallon of Pro Sweet we had left, which about filled each sort of feeder again, and then they're not on food anymore. I had planned to feed them longer and got a 25-pound bag of sugar, but my mom said we're gonna stop feeding them, and I was like, okay, but now we have a 25-pound of sugar, so I guess I'm gonna make a lot of cupcakes. One of the many jobs the worker bee does is help carry the dead bees out of the hive. So you can see this guy struggling with a dead bee body, trying to take it away somewhere, who knows. It's already out of the hive, but he's bothered by it, so he's gonna go clean it up. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been week 2 of the bee log inspection series. And yeah, I will see the bees and you again real soon.